I've heard really mixed things across people who participate in the LCK. I've heard Genji won the offseason. I've heard Genji is the most overrated team that we've ever had in the LCK. And I haven't heard anywhere in the middle. So I'm really curious what people feel about that. Obviously, looking at the Kespa Cup, they did not perform as well as expected. But again, how much weight can we really put into the Kespa Cup? But I think really, when I look at one player on this team, I am very excited about moving forward, and that's BDD. BDD, Tyler's written a very long profile about him, and he's had a really great career. He seemed like a very young, very impactful talent earlier in his career, but last year it seemed on KT was not a great team. It seemed very like.
You're wounding Emily bringing up anything KT roster related.
Okay, well, my point being is like BDD had, I won't say he had a bad year last year, but he didn't have as good as you would expect out of him having.
He's been touted as like the, faker killer, the next big superstar to come out of Korea, and I haven't seen it yet. Maybe Gen.G will. I mean, mainly from last year is what I mean.
So I'm going to ask this question to Tyler a little bit later on. Speaking of faker, I'm going to put that on deck right now because we do have our next guest, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Gen.G. Funny enough, we were just talking about Gen.G. Arnold Hur is joining us right now, live on the show. Arnold, thank you very much for joining us.
Hey guys, hope you guys can hear me. Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we can definitely hear you. So our ESPN eSports team gave Gen.G's offseason an A+. In our report cards. Can you just take us into, after the season ended, take us into the boardroom? What were the executive conversations like about molding the team and improving the team in the LCK for 2020?
Yeah, so I think this is kind of pulling back the curtain a little bit. It's really about windows, right? Like, what window are you in as an organization to be able to compete? At least in the LCK, you think about kind of the World Championship level, right? So for us, we felt like we were in a good window. We're looking at the free agency market. We've been having scouting teams assess every single player that's available in the free agency market, about 8 months before it even starts, right? So we felt really good about our options. We felt like we have a really good brand, and the players understand that we take care of them, that we're really trying to focus and build a winning organization. So we, at that point, we just had to pull the trigger and go for it, right? And we got a little lucky, and things worked out really well for us.
I mentioned Ruler earlier, but this is you acquired the Samsung team a few years ago, and I would say that they haven't necessarily performed as well as you would think they might have after winning a World Championship shortly before that acquisition. I mean, rebuilding now and making a lot of changes as you did, what are your expectations for this team moving forward?
Yeah, I think we got a lot of stuff to work on. We're still kind of matching up the tempo on the different new members on the team. And you got to realize, Ruler and Life are the only ones that came back from last year, right? So we got a lot of work to do, but we got a great coaching staff. And I do believe that, if we are able to kind of really put the pieces together, improve in the way that we're planning on improving, we're going to be a contender for the World Championship.
Clid mentioned in an interview, we were just talking with Ashley Kang, and Clid mentioned to her that he really wanted an atmosphere that was very friendly. He wanted people around the same age as him. He wanted to always be laughing and be around what seems to be a friendly atmosphere. How important was that for you to cultivate?
I think it's really, I would actually say yes, our job or my job is part of that, but I actually give credit more to the team and the coaching staff and our entire organization. But I think about it this way, right? Like, if you look at the Korean League of Legends scene, you have, let's say a team like Samsung that was before, right? Like, their main business is selling TVs and monitors and other Samsung stuff, which, Samsung SSD is one of our sponsors. Awesome. But for us, we wake up in the morning and we're trying to figure out how do we build a winning team, right? We're waking up in the morning every day and trying to figure out, all right, this is our only business, right? This is the only thing that we do. Every single person from top down, super passionate about it. Like, you'll see executive staff at games all the time, which, I haven't seen the CEO of, some of the other huge conglomerates there. So for us, I think that really shows a difference. And I think we've been really working at it. It took some time, since I agree with Jacob. Like, the first day that I was on the job, I was definitely the dumbest person in the LCK, right? Dumbest person in the room. But our goal is every year to just become smarter and be one of the smarter people in the room. and I feel like we made a lot of progress there. And I do believe that we've got a really good environment and some good ingredients for success now.
I promise this is a League of Legends question, but I was very impressed with some of the decisions and the branding that Genji did, even outside of League, right? The Fortnite Bumble partnership, for example, the all-female team, things like that. There were some great moves that Genji did this season. And I'm wondering, how do you approach League of Legends? Like, do you have that same flexibility? Or because it's such an established league and an established esport, are there more restrictions to being able to be creative like that?
There's a ton of restrictions, but I think the league is going to change, right? Like I do believe that there's a lot more fun to be had, and you're going to start seeing us do a lot more fun things throughout the year. We've got a new jersey that we're going to reveal pretty soon. We've got a bunch of like new stuff that we have planned. So right now, like for instance, we were the first ones to basically say like, all right. You guys ever heard of like Taco Night for the Lakers, where if you score a certain number of points, you get free tacos for everybody? We did something similar with Riot at the at where we play in Korea here. So where we did it, where if we win this game, where we're trying to make worlds, unfortunately we didn't. We were giving away like free hot dogs or stuff like that. So I'm gonna be really pushing teams here to be more aggressive across the board. To do more fun things for fans, right? Like, because we're supposed to have fun with this thing, right? And I think that's one thing that I do believe that the LCK experience needs to get better if we're going to be competitive with the LPL.
I do want to ask, the LCK is the only region that's not franchised to the 4 major at this point. I would assume that you all would be a shoo-in if that were to happen. You have an American investment corporation that has a fair amount of money, a high valuation, clearly very stable, I would say, in addition to your Overwatch team. But, I mean, what do you think the future of the LCK is? Do you think it will eventually transition to that franchise model that we see in the LCS, the LEC, and the LPL?
Yeah, I think it has to. I think franchising is the only way that you're going to align the incentives between what Riot, what LCK, and what the teams want, as well as provide a little bit more stability for us to be able to, showcase kind of our junior talent. One of the things that's really understated that people don't know about is that we have some of the strongest developmental talent right now. And even better, now they're getting trained by Plid, by Ruler, by BDD, and, everybody else. So, we just can't showcase them because there's no way for us to showcase them because we can't have a team in challengers, right? So, I do believe that for the future health of the league, LPL has definitely surpassed us. I'm throwing that down right now. And so, in order for us to catch up, in order for us to surpass the LPL, like I do believe that franchising is the right solution, that it aligns the incentives. But of course, I think you have to do it the right way, right? It's like, you do need franchising is a great structure if you do it the right way. If you do it the wrong way, then it doesn't help anybody.
Arnold, who's your NBA team?
I'm a lifelong Lakers fan, even though I'm wearing Jordan on my shirt. I grew up in LA. I'm a big Lakers
You're
fan.
very happy right now, aren't you?
Yeah, I think we scored like 40 points in the first quarter today. So feeling good about that.
Yeah, Arnold Hur is the COO of Genji. Thank you very much for joining us.
All right, thank you guys.